Whoop, whoop. There's a few bangers in there. Hey going, Uncle Wayno here. I'm not supposed to be sourcing, I know, but when you see a deal that's too good to pass up on Facebook, you just sort of have to jump on it. And so I'm heading down to Port Welshpool, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away from where I live, to pick up 28 VHS. Not many, it's a long drive to pick up 28 VHS, but half of them, at least half of them are horror, old 80s, 70s, 80s horror, and there's at least one absolute banger in there. I haven't looked them up, but I did look this one up because I knew it would be worth a bit, and the last comp on it was $123, so it's well worth the drive, and she only wants $12. I don't know how she came to $12, but she only wants $12 for the lot. The other thing is, I picked up a couple of days ago, a friend of mine tagged me in a post of one of her friends. It was just on this lady's personal Facebook page, so I'm not sure how I was able to see it, but anyway, she just sort of put up a post up saying, does anyone want VHS tapes? So I messaged her and said, yeah, I'll come and have a look. So I went over there, and she had tons, like she was just giving them away for free. So I grabbed them all. A lot of them aren't very good. A lot of them will go straight to the op shop. They're just a waste of time. But your 90s sort of sell-through tapes. But there is a few good ones in there. I haven't looked through them yet. They're still in bags and stuff. Only what I saw while we were bagging them up. I did see Black Hole, 80s Disney sci-fi movie in a clamshell, and it's in really good nick. That's worth about $60 just by itself. And I got this whole lot of tapes for free. There's a few hundred there. So what I'll do is I'll pick these tapes up. We'll head back home. I'll sort through them all, and I'll show you exactly what to look for when you see VHS tapes out in the wild. The ones that aren't any good, the ones that are absolute bangers, and the ones that are in between. Okay, I'm back home. I've sorted through both lots. The first lot that I got a couple of days ago, all the free ones, there's probably about 200 to 300 in there, and I've only pulled 7 out that are worth keeping. Just to give you a quick idea, these are the small box cases, the ones where the tape fits right nicely in the case, and these are the big box. They're a little bit bigger. Obviously the big box tapes were more the ex-rental tapes from the video stores. So these small box, a lot of these tapes were small box from the 90s release, and they're just not worth anything. It doesn't matter what the movie is really. Jurassic Park there, Ace Ventura, Die Hard, love Die Hard. But anyway, it really doesn't matter. If it's from the 90s, it's pretty much no good. A couple of them, you might find one here or there that you might get $5 or $7 for, but I won't list them if they're worth less than $10, because they'll just sit there forever anyway before they sell, and it's just not worth your time. So all those ones will be bagged up and straight off to the op shop. Just quickly, if you're going to dump a whole heap of videos at the op shop, which I've done many times, just make sure that you're actually giving them to an op shop that sells VHS tapes. Some op shops just chuck them in the bin, which is really annoying because they're probably throwing out like some really expensive tapes sometimes. But yeah, just make sure your op shop actually sells them. Now the 7 tapes I pulled out of the first lot, just really standard. I just showed this before, Dirty Dancing. It's only really worth $10. I could have chucked it back into the op shop lot, but I just might as well keep it. Lethal Weapon is like a $25 tape from 1987, so it's a bit sort of harder to get. The first couple are probably worth a bit more than the other two. I was really happy to find this, the Dark Crystal in the cardboard sleeve. I've sold this before, and the one I had a massive chunk taken out of the back. The front was all tattered and shit, and I sold it for $40. The tape was really clean, so it was all good. They come in these the American tapes, a lot of the American tapes come in these cardboard slip style covers, but this one is really good. The most recent comp on this was $80 plus post. That was in really good nick. This has a couple of little issues, so I might get 60 or 50, 60 bucks out of that. So I was pretty happy to find that one. Your clamshells, the collectors love the clamshells. These ones aren't very desirable, but you should always pick up the clamshells, even if they're just a shit movie that it isn't going to sell. People will buy just the clams. You know, they break pretty easily, clams. They deteriorate over time. So if you find clams in good condition, and if you're only buying them from up shops, you're only going to be paying like 20 cents each or 50 cents each at the most. So I pick up clams whenever I see them, if they're that cheap, and you can just bundle them up in a big lot and you can actually make a bit of money out of those. So as I was saying, collectors do love the clamshells, and there's a couple of nice ones here. The Final Countdown, I've never seen this movie. I might actually watch it. It looks pretty cool. From the 80s, I think it's from 1980. It is 1980, with Kirk Douglas and Martin Sheen. This goes for about $25, and the clam's in really good nick. The sleeve has a bit of wear on it, but I might even get a little bit more because the clam's pretty nice. And this one is an absolute banger. Black Hole, this 80s sci-fi. It's a Disney movie and it's a sci-fi from the 80s. I haven't seen this one either, so I might watch this as well. But the clam is in such nice nick, and this is one of those clams that actually can damage really easily. It's got a bit of discoloring on it, but apart from that, and apart from the little bent corner, it's in like schmick as condition. The last one of these sold for about $60, I think, and I actually think I can get a bit more just because of the condition of it. So that was the first lot, only 7 tapes out of 200 to 300, but it was still worth getting. I'll probably make 150 to 200, nothing super special or anything, but it was still pretty cool going through them all. The second lot I got here, and there's some absolute bangers in this lot. There was only 28 total. I took 5 small box ones out, and I've got some bangers here to show you. I've got Rotor, I don't know if that's how you say it. How cool is that cover? This is in a clamshell as well. It's in really good nick. Old action movie from the 80s. I think this is from the 80s. But yeah, this is really cool. I'm not sure what the price is on this one, but I think this will do pretty well. Then we've got a few horror ones here. The Prey, another really cool cover. I'm not sure if this is from 70s. This sort of looks 70s-ish. The pictures on the back, I actually don't know this movie myself. Again, in a clamshell, in really good nick. Another clamshell, this one's a bit broken up. But again, I might have a spare clamshell sitting around that is similar to this that I can put this in. Screen Time, another horror movie. I haven't looked any of these up, so I did look 1 or 2 up, but I haven't looked these ones up. And then we've got Rosemary's Killer here. The clam's pretty beat up on this one as well. So again, I'll see if I've got another clam I can put this in. But yeah, it's really cool old horror movies with cool artwork on them. That's what people like. There's some collectors that just like the artwork. They don't actually watch the videos, they just collect them. So this one here is pretty funny. It's Reckless Kelly. I love this movie when I was a kid. So yeah, I just had to show it. Cornflakes.
Listen to me, kid. Where is Dan?
Cornflakes.
Good dog.
Firehouse. Yes, Firehouse. Again, this isn't a horror or a sci-fi or anything. It's just an old 80s comedy. But if you look at the cover art, it's the sort of thing that someone might buy, and it's in a nice clamshell as well, so pretty rare. And just some big box ones here. Metal Beast. I never heard of this movie. It looks 90s, but I'm not sure. I would have thought I would know this movie if it's from the 90s. I used to work in a video store back then. It's got Barry Bostwick in it. If you don't know who that is, he's the mayor, I think, in Spin City. I think it's the mayor. Yeah, the old guy anyway. But yeah, have a look at this dude on the back. Metal Beast. He looks pretty scary. Again, I have no idea if this is worth anything, but it's a cool cover, old sci-fi thriller, might be worth something. A few big box old school horror movies as well. Drive-In Massacre. Again, I haven't looked these up, but I expect these to all do pretty well. Slaughter High, I think this goes pretty well. I think this is only like a $30 tape or something, maybe 20. But yeah, how cool is that cover art? They just don't make movie posters or cover art like they used to. There's actually a documentary that came out a few years ago, and I cannot think of what it's called right now, If I can find it, I'll put a picture up on the screen. If it's something you're interested in, movies and stuff, this documentary is so worth watching. It's about a guy, I can't remember his name either, from back in the day. He used to do a lot of the cover art for movie posters, and he painted them all, and it's just amazing some of the artwork he came up with. And they just don't put that effort in anymore with Photoshop and digital and all that. They just chuck a couple of photos together and there's your movie poster these days. But yeah, if I can find that, I'll put it up on the screen. If I can't find it, I'll probably cut this out. So another one here, Ghoulies 2. I think this is pretty sought after, pretty popular, but I don't think it's huge money. Again, I think this might be like a $20 or $30 one. I'm just guessing, so hopefully I'm wrong and they're worth heaps more. Just something else to look out for with VHS tapes. Cherry 2000. I think most people wouldn't have heard of this movie. Even people that are willing to buy it, they're just going to buy it for that cover art. Like, it is just really cool cover art. It looks like a dodgy ass action movie, but people don't care. They just want this sort of stuff in their collection. And there are a lot of collectors that actually like watching these cheesy old action movies. So yeah, some of these old movies, just if they've got a cool cover, it really pushes their value up. Now, I don't know if I can actually show this on YouTube. I'll have to have a look later before I cut this video together. But this is absolutely hilarious. This is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen, one of the funniest covers I've ever seen. It is called Naked USA Volume 2 Florida. And on the front is a picture of a bunch of naked people out in the Florida swamps on a hovercraft. How much more random could you get? I don't think people will buy it. I don't know. There might be some weirdos out there that might actually buy this. But it is just hilarious. Some people might buy it just because it's funny. I mean, I pick shit up that I just think's funny all the time. Doesn't matter what it is. So, yeah, I don't know if I can show this. If you're seeing this right now, that means I can show it. If you're not seeing it, that means I've cut it out. And last but not least, this is the absolute banger out of the lot. When I saw this lot on Facebook last night, this is the one video that stood out to me. I knew it was worth a lot of money, and I looked it up straight away, and the most recent comp was an auction sale for $123. So buy it now usually goes for more than auctions anyway. It is This Violent World, and if you are as old as me or older than me, you would know this. We used to rent these out from the video store, and I don't know how I was able to rent it out. It's R-rated and it's absolutely disgusting. It's just really weird. There's people dying in there and shit. Just people doing really weird shit. But yeah, this goes for a lot of money. There's a few others, Shocking Asia, a couple others, I can't remember the names. But yeah, as soon as I saw this, I knew this was money in the bank, and it was worth driving an hour and 15 minutes to get this lot. I mean, this, including this and the rest of these horror movies and stuff, there is actually a few more that I didn't bring over that are like $10, $20 tapes that I didn't bother bringing over to show. I think I'll make like 400 to 500 just out of this lot of 28 tapes, and this is a big part of it. So very happy with this one. Absolute banger. This is the sort of stuff that the VHS collectors dream about finding in the op shops and stuff, and I just picked up this whole lot for $12. So just a few quick tips before I go. I've already said most of it anyway. Steer clear of the small box. There's really not a lot of it that's going to be worth looking at. Apart from kids, I did not mention any kids. The Wiggles, stuff like that, some of that stuff can go for heaps of money. Kids is a completely different story. There's also some animated stuff. I've sold like Rocko's Modern Life for like $50 each tape. Like, some of that stuff can go for heaps of money. Dragon Ball Z, Ren and Stimpy, some of that stuff goes really well. So that's the small box stuff you want to look at. Anything else, just your regular movies, don't worry with. And the big box stuff, you really want to look to pre-90s, post-90s stuff. You might find some here and there that are worth a little bit, but they're really not worth your time overall. The amount of time you're going to put into looking them all up and stuff, it's probably just not worth your time. The pre-90s stuff, anything horror, just pick it up. You might as well. It's so easy to take a punt on VHS tapes, because the reality is you're only ever going to pay at most probably 50 cents each at the op shops or garage sales or whatever. That's pretty much all you have to pay for them, so it's really easy to take a punt on them. So if you see any horror, just pick them up. Any old sci-fi action with anything with really cool covers, just pick it up. Anything that's quite funny, pick that up as well. Some of the covers are just hilarious. I love them. And then your clamshells as well. Anything in a clamshell, just pick it up if the clamshell's in good condition, especially, because you can bundle those together and sell them. Just a quick tip with the tapes. You need to make sure there's no mold on the tape. The tapes over time, if they haven't been stored well, they will get mold on the actual tape, and it comes up as white mold. I don't know if you can see. If you can't see that properly in the camera there, I'll put a picture up of it. This is a really bad one. This is completely covered in mold. You can clean them. It's a pain in the butt to do it. You need, there's tutorials on YouTube. You can look it up if you really want to. But yeah, if it's a $10 tape or whatever, it's got tons of mold on it, I just chuck it out. If the tape's actually worth decent money, I will keep it. I do have a big pile of tapes that need to be cleaned. I need to set up an old VCR one day and just go through and do them all. It's just a really lot of work, and I just don't have time for it at the moment. But you can clean them. It's just a long process. You can sell them with mold on them. You have to state it, obviously, but you're going to get way less than what it's worth. So in most cases, it's just not really worth doing it. You're better off getting them clean. And the other thing I'll quickly mention is you used tapes, the tapes that you used to use to record stuff off TV or whatever. Some of these can be valuable. It depends what's on them. These ones, I just picked these up. I got a bunch of these off that lady today as well. This one's got Bathurst 96, Bathurst 97. The other one's just got with Pamela Anderson written on it. I don't know what that means, but anyway, you know, there's collectors out there that will buy this. If there's nowhere else you can buy Bathurst 96, people will want this. And I know there are collectors that transfer this stuff to the computer, and they transfer it to their they have archives. So there's certain things people will buy. Myself, I have a ton of 90s NBA, AFL that I got off a guy who taped all this stuff back in the day. And it's so cool. Like, I've got tons and tons of them, and my plan was to transfer them all to the computer, but again, it's just one of those things that's just going to take so much time. It's just probably going to be on the back burner forever. There are people that collect Rage, MTV, old TV shows with ads in them. They love the ads being in them. I love the ads being in them myself. It is really cool to go back and watch some of them. So some of this stuff can actually sell really well, and even the shit stuff can sell really well. You just bundle a whole bunch of them up together in a bulk lot, and someone will buy them. I've seen bulk lots of this stuff go for over $200 just because it's got some stuff written on it that they like. They're sold untested as well. Obviously you want to check if they got mold in them. But yeah, your used tapes, don't throw them out. That some of them can be valuable, and some of them can be fun to actually go through. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you learned a bit about VHS tapes. I love it. I used to work in a video store when I was younger, back in, I think I started in 95 and I finished in the early 2000s, and this is just really nostalgic for me, just going through some of these old tapes that I used to just see on the shelf all the time when I was walking around the video store. I just love looking through them and going through them. So yeah, it's always really nostalgic for me, and I had an absolute belter of a day just going through this shit. Some people might just think I'm insane, but I do love it. So that's it for this episode. I hope I really helped you out. If you have a second, just half a second, just please subscribe and like the video. I'm trying to build the channel up, and it means so much to do it. You have no idea how much it means. But thanks for watching all the way through. I really appreciate that also, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers!
And I swim through like Shaquille O'Neal, wicked, wreck it, baby, I rock that dance too, baby. Take it, cause I'm gonna wreck it. Come to the give all me, I am a wicked. Come to the give all me, I am a wicked. Come to the give all me, now open your face, give all me.